Hi, I'm Mike. Almost every job on the ranch is important, and there aren't many jobs that just take up time. During the winter, cows need two things more than anything, and that's food and water. And that's today's project on our Wyoming Life. Welcome back to the project list. Each and every week we take a look at this list right here behind me, and we get to work on a project around the ranch. We add to it constantly, we cross jobs off as they're done, but the basic gist of the project list is just that. There's stuff that needs to be done, and we need to do it. There is, however, much more to it than that. As some projects, you may know, they're coming, but you don't know when. And today we get started on a yearly project that lasts for us months. Please subscribe, hit the bell button so that you don't miss a thing, and come along with us as we explore the ranch life and escape the ordinary. Every winter, and sometimes even as early as fall, we hit a point where we need to start feeding the cows. For the past 7 months or so, they've been out on their own, living on the native prairie grasses of the high plains here in northeast Wyoming. But now, with the bitter cold temperatures over the past few days and continued snowfall, these plains are beginning to look, well, like less and less of a source of feed for these cows. A cow is really just one big eating machine. Over the course of the year, she'll eat over 10,000 pounds of feed in the form of grass off the ranch. Take her and all her friends, and that quickly becomes over 1.5 million pounds. The average house in America weighs about 300,000 pounds, so that would be the equivalent of 5 houses. Talk about eating you out a house and a home. Of course, there are only certain times on the ranch that grass will be available for her to eat. Our rain comes in late April and May. Our growing season is very short, only 125 days or so, and that rain has to be on time in order to grow the grass in the first place. If we don't get rain, or temperatures are too cool in the late spring, or a combination of both, the grass is not going to be able to grow to its full potential. Not only do we count on that perfect mix of temperatures and rainfall for the cows to eat over the entire summer, we also count on it for cows to feed during the winter. Starting in June, we begin cutting areas of the ranch that are set aside for winter feed for the cows. We call those hay fields, and using a combination of mowers, rakes, and balers, we begin storing the food that the cows will eat all winter long. We know how much extra feed we need to put up for winter, and we know how much the cows need to eat during the summer, so it's a delicate balance on the ranch. Because if, like this year, we end up losing winter feed due to hailstorms, we just can't go and make new hay fields. If we did that, we'd be taking away from the cows' feed that they need during the summer while they're nursing their young and putting on weight. Because of that hailstorm this summer, we lost a little over a third of our winter stockpile of hay to feed the cows over the winter. Normally, we'd be able to buy the difference from other ranchers and farmers that grow only hay in order to supply ranchers that are in need. But because of past droughts and having to buy so much hay over the last few years, the ranch just can't afford to spend another $30,000 to $50,000 on hay. We have to start thinking about equipment that's getting older, tractors that are beginning to need more repairs, and the number of repairs and projects that we were put off in order to buy hay over the last few years. This winter, we have to make do with what we have, and that has been one of the challenges that we've had to deal with over the past few months. We've put off feeding the cows as long as we can, and today it's time to head out and get them their first taste of that summer hay, cut and baled back in June for their enjoyment this November. We store hay all over the ranch in different hay yards, mostly due to insurance concerns. Our hay, once it's put up and baled, is covered by our ranch insurance as feed for the animals. Keeping it spread out keeps it safer. If we have a fire that might roll through one hay yard, we won't lose all of our hay, and we'll still have something to feed the cows while we look for more. Fires are not uncommon, caused by lightning, transformers, and even a number of other influences that can quickly decimate a hay yard, even in the wintertime. With each bale weighing about 1,400 pounds, we need to put enough feed out for all the cows. The simple way to figure out how much to feed, especially in early feeding season when we aren't worried as much about supplemental feeds, is to figure that each animal is going to eat about 20 pounds of dry forage per 1,000 pounds of body weight. If we figure our cows weigh about 1,300 pounds, then we know that each one is going to eat about 26 pounds of hay. With 150 cows out here, that's 4,000 pounds, or 2.8 bales. There are plenty of challenges with raising and feeding cows in northeast Wyoming. We need a crazy amount of land to feed each cow. Winters can be almost unbearable and hard on cows and calves alike. But that cold weather makes feeding a little bit easier. Our ground, even this early in the winter, is frozen solid. A cow pie could break a windshield. So we can take advantage of that frozen ground and treat it a lot like a dinner plate for the cows. We can roll out our hay using a bale roller on the back of the tractor to make a buffet for the cows to come into. In warmer climates or places where the ground may not freeze completely, this method of feeding hay will create too much waste. But here, the cows clean it up, spick and span. The trick is that you have to feed in a new spot each time, but we have plenty of room for that. With our limited hay supply to get us through the winter, decisions are going to have to be made here within the next week or so on life on the ranch. Coming up next Tuesday, we'll be preg checking the cows on the ranch. That means that we'll find out just who is pregnant in the herd and who isn't. These cows that aren't pregnant, they're going to be leaving the ranch. It's as simple as that. In order to be a productive part of the herd, a cow has to supply the ranch with a calf each year to cover the expenses of her living here. We'll also be selling a few older cows that might be pregnant as well because we just can't afford to feed them. Those will be sold to ranchers who may have extra hay this year and can make a profit with another calf in the spring. With our current hay reserve, we're planning on cutting the herd by about a third, taking the number of head on the ranch from 150 to about 100 cows. Those 50 or so that we sell will bring income to the ranch and quite possibly may allow us to buy some bred cows or heifers in the spring. The thing is, we do know that we can't afford to feed all of our cows all winter long. If we bring in new cows, they'll increase the genetic diversity of the ranch, which is always a good thing. But until preg checking, we can't do much. And the cows, well, they need to eat. All of them. And they all get fed. They get water too. Although the colder it gets, the less they'll drink, and the more trouble the water will cause for us. But that, my friends, is a whole other show. Thanks for coming along today. And although the ranch faces us with pretty tough decisions almost on a daily basis, we always try to look at the long game. If you worry about tomorrow, you're going to worry yourself to death. If you look at the future, what you want to accomplish and what you want to see in your place, the answer, most of the time, becomes very, very obvious. I am going to go finish up the rest of the feeding this morning. I still got to feed the pigs and take care of the calves, but I encourage you to subscribe. So much of this world really doesn't quite understand where their food comes from and has no connection to the families behind the grocery store shelves. That's where you can help. By supporting us and folks like us, you can help spread the message of agriculture. So thank you for that. Until I see you again, have a great week, and thanks for joining us in our Wyoming Life.